Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Productivity Mastery Podcast. And I'm very honored and privileged to be sitting here today with one of the leading authorities worldwide when it comes to the art and science of goal setting. Brian Mayne is an exceptional individual who's been teaching and helping hundreds of thousands of people. I'm not exaggerating, hundreds of thousands of people being impacted by his work, specifically with goal mapping, with life mapping, with setting goals and achieving goals. And he has such an interesting story. Instead of me introducing him, actually, it will make a lot more sense to give him the word. Brian, good morning, first of all. How are you
Good
today?
morning. It's great to be with you, Stoyan.
Great to have you on the podcast, and I want to start with your a little bit earlier age. I know that by the age of 29, you had to go through some very interesting experience. And please correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I know, you are left with a 1 million pounds in debt, and that was also time that you were not so good in writing and reading. So could you maybe share with us a little bit about this part of your story and how did you pick yourself up to get on a journey of success?
Yeah, okay. And so the backstory is I was born into a traveling family, like a gypsy family. And my family came from circus people and traveling funfair. And with all of the moving, I was not going to school so much, only a few months each year. Left school at 13, which is the normal thing for a traveling community, leave early. So I left with no qualifications and I have dyslexia. And so I never learnt to read and write, never took any exams. And by 13, I was working full time with the family funfair traveling business. And there was some good success. But in the late 1980s, early 90s, and I was around 29, the business came to an end, the family business. And it ended with a lot of debt, 1 million in debt. And so at age 29 was a really tough time for me. The family had been quite wealthy. There was quite a lot of money. I had really quite a good life in many, many ways. But at 29, it all changed. And so I was 1 million in debt. I was unemployed. My home was repossessed. I had no home. My marriage ended, and so I was alone. And I had no qualifications. I'd never had a formal work in my life. I'd only ever worked for my father or for myself. And I still, at age 29, could not read and write. And I just didn't know quite what I would do. My future was looking dark. I couldn't see the way forward. I didn't know how I would pay the debt. I'd gone back to live with my parents, but they were also in much debt, and so their home was going to be repossessed. And although it was a very dark time and I was very scared, it was actually the beginning of a new, bright, amazing time in my life. I didn't know that at first. The turning point was discovering personal development. I joined a direct sales team on commission, that if I sold some things, I would earn some money. It was one of the few work opportunities that I could do without qualification or reading and writing. And in joining the sales team, I was introduced to personal development because they put on a personal development workshop. And I'd never heard of personal development before. And I was a skeptic. My mind was really quite closed. But it turned into an amazing thing for me. And in the workshop, I started to learn the simple science of positive thinking and how to set goals in a powerful way. And one of the first goals that I set was to learn to read. It took me 1 year, but I used all of the positive thinking ideas, the goal setting ideas to set the goal to learn to read. And once I could read, it was like a great feeling of freedom. And I wanted to read many things, of course. And I decided to read mostly personal development, that I would focus my mind into learning more of how you can develop yourself as a person and how you can influence your life in a positive way. I had not really understood that there are principles in life that are like a regulator of success. And if you learn the principles, if you apply the principles to your life, if you live by the principles of success, they help you to be successful. I'd had the idea in my mind, I think it was just a belief I'd collected from society, that success was mostly luck, chance, random. And I thought maybe I've had all of my success because I'd had some success. Maybe there's no more coming. But to learn that, okay, here's all these principles of success, and it's very much starting with our thoughts and our beliefs and our attitudes, and it can be then within your control more to produce success in your life. And of course, it's something that many people learn, and they learn it young, and many other people do not learn it. And some never, but some when they're older. But as I used the principles of success and I started to understand more about how to set goals in a powerful way, gradually, over a period, 1-2 years, everything was changing. I was paying back the debt, had a new good life, and felt more confident than ever before. And I had many people coming to me asking, wow, how have you made all of these changes and gone from nothing and much debt to create something? My sales performance was the best in the team, and I was achieving a lot of things. And so I started to teach other people the things that were taught to me. And that really was the beginning of me having a career then as a speaker and a trainer. And within a couple of years, I started my own company for personal development. And I started to teach the goal mapping system, which has now reached a lot of people.
This is amazing. Thank you, Brian, for sharing such a transformation from somebody who's not had the ability to read and write and is in a 1 million pounds in debt, by following some simple principles consistently to make a complete transformation, not just to your personal life, but actually with the impact that you have created to the world, to hundreds of thousands of people. And I told you before we started the stream that anywhere I go, there's somebody who's a goal mapping trainer or who's been exposed to the science of goal mapping. We actually met, for the audience, might be interesting that the way we met is a common friend, Katalin Konya, who at the time was a active world champion in kickboxing. And I just want to say to the audience, the way she became a world champion in kickboxing, she acquires the credit to the system of goal mapping, because she put herself a goal map, and later in this year or the year after, I'm not sure, she actually managed not just to become a world champion, she did it 3 times.
Yeah.
And the 3rd time she was defending the title, I remember Brian and myself grabbing a beer and watching the boxing match live, which was an exceptional experience. Thank you, Brian, for sharing this great moment with me and Katalin.
I think my young daughter was with us also.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
It was a great time. And it leads me to this question. Why should we have clear written goals? Is there any science behind this? Any data that actually supports this kind of a fact?
Yeah, there's a lot of science, and for many years now, the science has gradually collected. Many years ago, Harvard University in America, they did a big research project where they surveyed the graduating class. And I think it was something like 1970. So the graduating class, and they asked many questions. But one of the key questions they were asking of the graduating class is, do you have clearly written goals for your future? And then 20 years later, they again surveyed the surviving members. Some had died. And the results were that only 3% of the graduating class had clearly written goals and a plan. And 20 years later, that 3% was so much more successful, but also happy in so many ways. They were healthier, fitter. Their wealth, the 3%, was more than the other 97% added together. And of course, the wealth is just one measure of the success. The reason why it's working is because every thought that we think becomes like a goal, like a command to our subconscious mind. If we're thinking happy thoughts, then more often it makes us happy. And if we're thinking sad thoughts, then more often it makes us sad. And if we're thinking more about the things we really want to do, then our subconscious is helping us move towards those things. And all of the thoughts in our mind are coming and going. But when we take the thought and we write it down on paper and we remind ourselves of that thought, of that goal, that intention, it makes the thoughts of what we want gradually stronger, stronger, stronger. And that becomes then a command to our subconscious mind to move us towards the goal. People have been practicing writing goals for many years. If you want to make even more power, then as well as writing the goal, you want an image, a picture. And this was what helped Catalin Konya with the World Championships and the kickboxing. Athletes use visualization to enhance their physical performance. Since the 1990s, when sports psychologists started to understand the power of visualization, gradually now using visualization has become a standard thing for sports people. They visualize the end result they desire, and the picture, the visualization, helps to command their subconscious so that they give their best performance. The reason why visualization is important is because when you visualize, you're creating mental picture in your mind, and your subconscious mind, which is like your own autopilot, is responding much, much more to pictures than to words. It's like words are having this much power on the subconscious mind, and pictures are having this much power on the subconscious mind, or more. And many psychologists say the picture is 100 times more powerful than the words with the command to your subconscious mind. And so goal mapping is always combination of words and pictures. Most people are thinking in words first if they are an adult. Children are often thinking in pictures first because that is the natural way when we're very small. But gradually, because of language and writing, we become conditioned to think in words as the priority. So in a goal map, people will write the words of what they want to achieve, but then I'm getting them to add pictures. By adding the pictures, it's helping to stimulate both sides of the brain, because the left side of the brain is more for words, it's more logical mind, conscious mind. Right side of the brain is more thinking in pictures, and it's the creative mind, and also has the connection to the subconscious mind. And so by using words and pictures, helping to activate both sides of the brain, it's a really powerful way for setting goals. Whether that goal is to become a champion in sport, or the goal is to be a champion in business or education, or just to live your best life. And so the system is used by many people. It's used by business, it's used in education. And goal mapping is also used a lot now for people's health and well-being, if they're doing a diet or an exercise thing, or just for the goals they want to achieve to make their life as good as they can make it.
I really love the simplicity of the system. I've
Yeah.
myself been setting goals using Go mapping, and we're going to post some links. And I can imagine actually people can find resources in gomapping.com. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Is that the
No,
page?
you're correct. And yeah, they can find many resources there. There are a free online software, which is the most powerful way of doing the goal map, because there is video instruction to help you create the map, and you can see other examples of goal maps people have created. And there is many free tools, life balance check, and things you can do. Some people like to do the map on paper, and so there is also free download, so you can print the paper and do the map with the drawing. And with the young children, they often like to do the map with the drawing. I'm doing my maps always now with the online system, because having my map digital means that I can update the action plan. I can make changes when a new insight comes. I can share the map with other people that may be also working on the same goal with me. And so it's really good to use it that way to increase productivity. And I have a lot of business people that use the map now digital, but it's become more and more popular, especially in this last 12 months, 13 months, because it's not so easy to travel or go to a workshop. So many people now using the online goal mapping.
Yeah, I gotta say I'm maybe closer to kids. I love paper. I know so many people are very digital these days, but I just love the simplicity of printing it out and having it in paper. Um, some people will not be seeing this, but of course we're gonna put links for the people who are listening to the podcast, so they can have a look at how it looks and the template. But for the audience, maybe Brian, could you lead us through the 7 steps so we can get down to specifics? What are the steps we can take to properly set up our goal mapping?
Yeah, so the first step is dream. And in that first step, it's a simple process of closing your eyes, relaxing, and imagining what it is you wish to achieve. And in the online program, I'm guiding people in a little visualization to see their best life in the future. Some people are doing a long goal map that's many years. Some people are doing short goal maps, so the next 2 weeks, 1 month, etc. Often it's like 1 year or less for people with their goal maps. So I ask the person, look, see the ideal life for you in the future, or see the project that you have completed. So the person has a good picture of that in their mind. And then the second step, order, is to start to think about what is the priority goal. So the person has a little daydream, they see their ideal result for the future. They maybe make a short list of all the different things that are important, the different goals. And then I'm asking them in the second step, order, what is the priority goal? Because many people will have 5, 6 goals from different areas of their life. And they tell me they're all important. I want all of them. And I agree that they will all be important and they want all of them. And there will be one that is the priority. Because the first step, dream, is to use our right brain imagination, creative mind. Second step, order, is to use the other side of the brain, left brain, logical mind. And the logical mind always wants a priority, a center focus. And so we want one goal that, once achieved, helps us most in our life, or helps us to achieve the other goals. And then from that place, the person starts to create the map. They have a main goal, and then they have some more goals on the side of the main goal. And then step 3 is to add the pictures. Some people like to draw, some people use the online system, some people will cut pictures from a magazine, creating like a dream board. The important thing is that always there is the balance between having the pictures and clear written words for the goal. To make the words powerful, it's important the person writes the words as an affirmation. So this is a very ancient principle, that when you're writing a goal, if you're going to make it powerful, you write it personal, I, positive, you say what you want and not what you don't want. Many people are writing negative goals, the same
Like
what they don't want.
I want to lose weight.
Yeah, I don't want to be fat. I don't want to be overweight. I don't want to smoke more. And these really are negative goals. And the reason why they're negative is because the subconscious part of the mind doesn't understand abstract thought. So if you're saying, I don't want, the subconscious doesn't understand don't. And so it's just, I want more debt. I want to be overweight. So you must say what it is that you want. And if it is a map for diet, then you're saying the weight you want to be. So I weigh 85 kg, for instance, or whatever the goal is for you, or you say the amount of money you would like to be earning each year. So always personal, I, always positive, say what it is that you want. And then the third thing that makes an affirmation statement is to say it like it's already achieved now. And this seems very strange to many people because they want to use future tense. I'm going to, I would like to, I plan to. But again, the subconscious mind doesn't understand time.
I'm having a supercar.
Yeah, so I have, yeah. Because when you say it like it's a reality now, and when you visualize it in your mind like it's reality now, then your subconscious must go to work to help make it a reality. But if you say I'm going to in the future, your subconscious doesn't understand and it keeps it in the future. And these are simple things, but they are often the mistakes people are making when they set goals. And if you're not setting the goal in a correct way, then there is a little power in the goal statement. It's really not working for you to help command your subconscious. So step 1, you have a little dream about your future or your success, you make a list. Step 2, you identify what you believe is the main goal to be achieved, and you make sure that your goals are written using affirmation, personal, positive, present tense. Step 3, you add pictures so that there is a balance between words for your left logical brain and mind, and pictures for your right brain and creative mind. Step 4, you want to add power by now writing, and again using pictures, what are your 3 strongest emotional reasons? Emotion is what motivates us, not logic. And so maybe you want to achieve your goals to create a better life and future for your family. Or maybe you want to achieve your goals because it's going to give you more freedom or fulfillment. Or you're looking to make a big difference in your community, society, the world. Again, you write the reasons for the left brain and then you add pictures for the right brain. And often these will be short statements. I am fulfilled. I create a great life for my family. So simple things, but reminding yourself of why you want to achieve the goals and why it's important to make a difference, again, adds a lot of power. Step 5 is to give a date when. If we do not give a date of when we want to achieve the goal, it's not really a goal. And what makes a goal is that we give it a date, because otherwise it's just a wish. But once we have a date, we can measure it and we can start to plan a little how we would do it. And that is step 6. So step 6, how? What are the most important things that you will need to do to move towards the achievement of your goal? Maybe there is some learning you can do, a course that you can take. Maybe it will be important for you to be saving some money each month to make an investment. Maybe it will be necessary for you to change your work or move to a new location. And so identifying some of the things you can do, like steps along a path on the journey towards the achievement of your goals. Again, always the combination of the words as affirmations and then the pictures creating visualization. And again, these are very ancient principles that you will find in wisdom teachings from cultures around the world. But a lot of people do not understand them, and that's why a lot of people are not achieving their goals, because they don't know how to write the goals in a powerful way. And the final step, number 7, is who. Who will be taking the actions to achieve the goals? And sometimes the who is you, and sometimes there are other people that are helping you. Maybe co-workers, friends supporting you, family encouraging you. Maybe there are experts like a coach you are working with or a trainer that is also helping you to achieve your goals. And so at the end of the process, 7 steps, have a little daydream, work out your priority goal, start to map it out in words and pictures, get connected with why you want it, the strongest feelings, when you wish to achieve it, how you will do it, who will help. And at the end of those 7 steps, you will have your map in words and pictures. And it's all on just 1 or 2 pages, depending whether you're drawing the map or using the online system. But you have like a goal and also a plan. And then you can expand and give more detail afterwards if you wish. It's simple to add to the map. And I'm recommending that people create one for living their best life, and then they create some more for different areas of their life, maybe wealth or health, relationships. And then sometimes they're creating extra maps for specific achievements or projects that they believe is important.
Could you maybe, for the live listeners and those who are seeing the videos, once again, just show them and for the people who are on the podcast, obviously we're going to put some links so you can go and check it out. But I saw that you have with you an example. I think it's going to be interesting for those watching us.
Yeah, I have maybe 6 maps always, and I have them in my folder. I have the folder out because I'm looking at the maps regularly. It's next to my to-do list and pad. And the reason I'm looking at the maps regularly is once you have the map, you then want to make sure that you are really conditioning into your mind. And so I look at it once a day. And sometimes I'm drawing the map. So this one is drawn on paper with simple pictures. It doesn't need to, you do not need to be an artist to create a goal map. It can be just simple child pictures. And then this one, the online map. And you see we have a main goal in the center, and then more goals at the side. At the top here is the reasons why for the goal. And then we have how and who on the map, with the time in the center here and the different statements. And with the online, you can combine the words and the pictures together in an easy way. And when it's the paper map, normally you're having two. So there is another one with the words that's coming next to it and one with the pictures.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Brian, for sharing your personal goal maps. What I love about this system is, again, the simplicity.
Yeah.
And usually when people set goals, the usual case is people write down the goal, if they actually write the goals. As you said, how small percentage people write it, but they write down the goal, but we don't really take the time to think about the why, to think about the when, to think about who will help us to support the completion of this goal. So all these things put into one piece of paper or two pieces of paper is just amazing. And it's, as you said, it's about the consistency of reminding your mind about those things, the main
Yeah.
goal, the sub goals, the why behind. You said you're looking at it on a day-to-day basis. So how do we, this leads me to this question, how do we actually make sure we execute on our goals? This is an exceptional system to help us to clarify what the goal is, the why behind, and all the other things. But from your experience, what would be some strategies on how people should stay consistent and actually not get distracted with other things?
Yeah. Again, it is having the map visible. Many of the organizations I work with, because a lot of businesses are using goal mapping, and they will get the people to create their maps in the business, and then they will have them up at their workplace. Often they're sharing them with the rest of the team or their manager if it's a work goal map. And when it comes to the how part of the map, this then can be expanded into a work plan. It's very simple to turn the how of the map into more detail and create to-do list, action plan. And I'm looking at my goal maps often. Sometimes I will sit in the morning before starting work and I would just look at the maps to remind myself of what are the most important things I need to do next. Sometimes I'm achieving the goal by the date that I give, sometimes not, because life is always a little uncertain and changing. And so sometimes I will need to give them a little more time, and other times I'm achieving the goal before the date and it's happening faster. Sometimes when I'm creating the goal, I really don't know how I will achieve it. So I did a very big goal many years ago to reach 7 million people with goal mapping. I had no idea how that would be achieved, but I set the goal and I would look at the goal each day, and gradually I become clear on a plan of how I could move forwards and reach a lot of people. And now goal mapping has reached maybe 5 million, little more than 5 million people. 1 million of those people are small people, school children, because there is a business goal mapping, there is also education goal mapping, and young children and older students, so primary school, secondary school, university, will all use goal mapping. So it's simple enough that children can do it, but it's also powerful enough that big business, Microsoft, Siemens, Disney, Coca-Cola, Barclays Bank, Co-op food stores, there are many, many, many more, but they're all people, organizations that have goal mapping with their employees. And of course, many life coaches using goal map. And so looking at your goal map just a little in the morning, having it on the wall or in your folder or in your workplace, is a reminder of the things you've decided is important. And then on your map is also going to be the simple steps that you have identified to take to keep moving towards your goal. And the reason why I like, and I now use for myself, the online, even when I draw some pictures, I upload my drawings into the online system. And the reason I'm doing that is because with the online system, I can take out the actions of the map that I've achieved, and I can put in the new actions. Because when you have a goal for business or a big goal for your life, there will be many things you need to do. And of course, life is always changing. And so often the plan needs to change a little. There have been so many changes this last year. I was traveling every week for making presentations in different countries. And now I'm not traveling at all because it's not possible. And instead, I'm helping people by doing goal mapping online in webinars and online workshops and with the online software. And so all of these changes, I needed obviously to update those changes, a slightly different plan into the map. And it's just how life is. And so the map helps me stay on track, and it will attach to my daily to-do list of the things that need to be achieved. And that way it's helping me to increase my efficiency and my productivity. Because it always, the question is, what's the 20%? What's the thing that's most important for me to do next that's helping me move towards the achievement of my desires and goals?
And I love that you brought the fact that sometimes you have a goal, but then circumstances change. There was this saying, have a goal, but write it with a pencil.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
have a goal map, but always be ready to say, well, there's a pandemic. I need to readjust. I need to readapt.
Things change. Sometimes I set a goal. I don't achieve the goal by the time that I've said. And so I will ask myself some questions. Normally, the first question I'm asking myself, is this goal a good goal? And I want to connect with the feelings in my heart, not just the voice in my head. If I'm feeling in my heart, yes, it's a good goal, then I'm asking some more questions. Okay, so I haven't achieved it by the time that I wanted. Shall I give more time for the goal? Yeah. Another question I will ask is, what can I learn from my experience? Do I need to make a different plan? Is the reason why I haven't achieved it that I'm doing the wrong things? Or is it simply that life has changed in some unexpected ways, and so now I need to change my plan a little so that I can keep moving towards the goal? And sometimes I will have a goal and I will reset the goal 2-3 times before it's achieved. That was how things happened with my goal mapping book. After learning to read, I decided I wanted to really prove to myself that I had overcome my learning problems. And so I set a goal to write a book. And I only gave myself 1.5 years to write the book and publish the book. And 1.5 years came and went, and there was no book. And so I reset the goal. I gave another 1.5 years, and again, there was still no book. But I each time looked at, okay, what have I achieved? Well, I've created the draft manuscript. I've written magazine articles that have been published and have been popular. I have now some interest from people. I've learned the skill of writing more so that when I'm writing something, people like to read it. And then the third time of setting the goal, 4.5 years, the best publisher came for that book. And it's now published in many languages, and there is 2 editions, and it's been in print now for many years, and it's sold so many copies. it would have been easy to give up on the goal. After the first 1.5 years, there's no book. I did become disappointed. I've set the goal, I haven't achieved the goal, I felt a little bit like a failure. But then I looked at, okay, so what have I achieved? Well, I've learned more how to read and write, and I've started to create the manuscript, and I was a little over ambitious perhaps with the time. I give more time. And then the second time I realized, okay, I still need to develop my ability as a writer to make it more interesting. But people are liking it, and some of my magazine articles have been published and they have been popular. And so I give a bit more time. I reset the goal again. And so on the third time I achieved it. And you'll see this many times with many people in history and organizations, even with brilliant people. They are often setting a goal and not achieving the goal at first. And they have to reset it a couple of times, and they have to develop their persistence and develop a good, strong willpower to help them keep going. This is why it's important to have the goal in words and pictures. And many people will have dream boards. Dream boards and vision boards have become very popular. And people are often coming to me and asking for help because they haven't achieved their goals. And they show me their dream board. And they have some nice pictures, and there is no clear goal written in words. And it's important to remember here, we have two sides to the brain. Our brain is in two halves. We have a left brain, which is the logical mind. It's like our manager brain. And we have a right side of the brain, which is more the visionary and creative brain. It's like a leadership brain. And we need both the manager brain and the leadership brain to work together. The leadership brain is thinking in pictures. The manager brain is thinking in words. And if we do not use both in a balanced way, like in goal mapping, it means that we are not really setting the goal powerfully. We're only using one side of the brain, and so the power is very much reduced. And some people will have words, but they're not written powerful and no pictures. And other people will have some nice pictures, but there is no words, which means there is no clarity. The words in a goal help us to be precise. We can be very exact using words. We can say how much, how many, by what time. That is much more difficult to do in pictures. And so we need the pictures for the right brain stimulation, but we need the words for our conscious mind and to be really clear and precise about the goal. Goal mapping is a simple way to do the two together in the one map, the one page. And people can follow the instruction in the paper templates if they want to do the map in paper, or the video instruction and text is there if they wish to do the map online with the software.
Thank you, Brian, for sharing all this. And I want to bring you back to the part with defining the goal. And I recently published my first book
So
together
well
with
done.
thank you. The book is called Perform the Unsexy Truth About the Startup Success, with a co-author, Cristobal Alonso, who's the CEO of one of the largest B2B accelerators called Startup Wise Guys. And in the section about effective planning, we talk about, before actually getting into this strategies for planning and goal setting, we talk about the power of aiming high, because many people, and the book is focused on Central and Eastern Europe, a region we call New Europe. Many people in this region, they're setting reasonable goals. And when we do workshops with startups, with organizations, one of the highest rating areas is the area when we talk about the power of aiming high, and how important it is to set bigger goals than the one that initially naturally comes to mind. So I just wanted to hear from you, what is your take on that? How do we kind of nail the goal so it's not maybe like a panic goal, something that's completely unreasonable, impossible, but is also not reasonable and too small in a way?
I think that the goal needs to be bigger than we are now, bigger than our ability now. So when we're setting that goal, it wants to be something big enough, powerful enough, that it is stretching us outside of our comfort zone and into the unknown part of life a little, so that it helps to bring us power, it helps us to be at our best. And when we have that goal that is bigger than us, the value in the goal there is really helping us to grow. Sometimes people are coming to me and they set a goal where they just want to be very rich and to have millions and millions of euros, but they have absolutely no idea of how that will happen. They just hope they are going to win the lottery. And so those goals really are lacking some power. But if we have a goal where we are wanting to build a big business, or we are wanting to make a big change in our life, or we want to make a big difference in the lives of other people, then those types of goals are the types of goals where we are taking some ownership and we can start to create a simple plan. For me, when I set the goal to reach 7 million people, I really felt it strongly in my heart. It was the right thing to do. And I was already working with goal mapping and having a lot of success, but small numbers. Mostly I was running goal mapping in business, and it would be a workshop of maybe 20 people, 30 people. And it was good, and it was financially very successful because I was working with a lot of very wealthy organizations. They were paying me good money, but it was not reaching a lot of people. And so I started to think, how can I reach a lot more people? And so I made them plans around pushing my books forward and to do more speaking on stage and to start to look for opportunities to speak on TV and radio and podcasts like here with you. But the thing that reached the most people was something that I did not expect. And that was actually training other trainers to teach goal mapping. Because now there are more than 1,400 people around the world that have taken a certification to teach goal mapping in business, in school, in sports, in life coaching, in therapy, in many different places. And some people are working with a small number each year, and some of the trainers are working with thousands of people each year. And now, of course, it means that goal mapping with so many people that are certified to teach it in different countries, goal mapping has a life and a momentum without me. And if I should die tomorrow, the teaching would still continue because so many people are certified to use it on a professional way, and they're using it with their clients. And of course, it's in book and video and those things. And so it has that momentum. And really all of that started with setting a goal that was much, much bigger than would seem realistic. And I'm not such a fan of the word realistic, because I think whenever we're using that word, it really makes us set a much smaller goal. Very often in our goal setting, we want to be unrealistic, but keep a little bit of balance, of course. But we want to step outside of the comfort zone with the goal and just set a goal that's going to be something that excites us and something that really stretches us and makes us think, okay, how am I going to achieve that? Now, how is this going to happen? But it's amazing. It's almost like if you get really clear and connected to the big goal you want to achieve, it's like there's a little bit of magic in life that happens, and synchronicity, and you notice opportunity, and you're meeting sometimes the right people that have the good advice or the connections or the things that you need to help you take another step towards the goal. And I've seen some amazing things happen in my own life. And I get so many now inspiring messages people are sending me that they never thought they could achieve this goal, but they put it down in a goal map, and now it's happened. And sometimes it's taken a little time. I had a great message sent to me on LinkedIn with someone that set the goal to buy a home for his parents, his mother, because she had retired without enough money for her own home, and he didn't think he could do it, but then achieved it in an amazing way. And other people that are like drawing a goal map with a picture of the house, and then a few years later, they're getting almost the exact house that they drew the picture of. And it seems often like it's a chance or random thing, but of course it's not. It's about programming the subconscious mind and sending out that message of what you desire, and that starts to create great power to help you achieve the goal.
And I want to take a minute here just to share with the audience and inspire the audience. Guys, let us support Brian to reach the 7 million and more, even more. So those of you who are listening, those of you who are watching this video, seriously, this is one of the best people in the world you can get on this. If you know any podcast, if you know any TV station, any big media or anything, make sure to recommend Brian. Let's help Brian to impact even more people. This thing works. This thing is amazing. This has so much success stories. So let's, my audience here, I really invite you to let us support Brian to reach this goal and just exceed it, 10x this goal. Actually, let's go 70 million. Not why settle for 7? I mean, let's go big. So like if you're listening, make sure to reach out, gomapping.com. You can find a way to contact Brian there. And Brian, actually, I want to go back to something I watched one of your speeches, and you say something really interesting there. You said something in the lines of, be aware of the hole, but do not stare at the hole.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so and that came from, I was running a workshop in London, and there was maybe 100 or more people in the workshop. And I was talking about how powerful the subconscious mind is. The subconscious mind is many thousand times more powerful than the conscious mind. It does amazing things. The one thing that the subconscious mind cannot do, though, is it cannot make conscious choices. It's a little almost robotic. It cannot decide if something is good for you or bad for you, or right for you or wrong for you. It cannot make evaluation of good and bad. It follows the strong thought. If you are thinking about what you don't want, your subconscious actually moves you more towards what you don't want. And this is why many people go into self-sabotage. They don't mean to do it, but they're thinking a lot about what they don't want. They're thinking about what is wrong, and their subconscious doesn't understand, and it moves them more into what is wrong. And I was talking on this in my workshop, and there was a man in the workshop, and he was a motorcycle riding instructor. And so he put up his hand and he said, I teach people how to ride their motorcycle in a safe way. And the big danger for people riding a motorcycle in England is that we have many holes in the roads. And if you are hitting one of the holes, it can do quite a lot of damage in your car. But if you're hitting the hole and you're on a motorcycle, it can throw you off of the motorcycle and it can be fatal. And there are many people in England that have died because they've hit these big holes in the road on the motorcycle. And he explained to me that what they are teaching the motorcyclists now in England is be aware of the hole, but do not stare at the hole. Because whatever you focus your mind on, your subconscious moves you towards that. And so this is a great analogy for life, because if a person stares at the hole, their subconscious mind moves them actually to the hole. So we need to be aware of the whole, and the balance is, for most of the time, we want to stay focused on where we want to go, because if we stare at the whole, we go to the whole. And life is this way. We are each on a journey in life, like a path. We follow a road. And as we move along our path in life, there will be many holes. There will be things we wish to avoid and scary places. And we need to be aware of the holes in our path of life and stay focused on where we want to go. And the easiest way to keep the balance of being aware of the negative but stay focused on the positive is to have goals, have a goal map. If you are writing the goals down and then you're looking at them once a day and you have them in a map with words and pictures, that is helping to send the command to your subconscious about what you wish to achieve in your life, how you wish to be in yourself as a person, where you want to go, what you want to do. And of course, life's always changing. So there will be holes as we move along the path, but we're able to steer and avoid the holes as long as we have a clear picture and command of where we wish to go. I'm often going to Italy. I go skiing there when I can. Not this year because of the pandemic and the travel restrictions. But I have many friends in Italy who are ski instructor, and they're teaching the same principle with skiing. If you're staring at the tree, you ski to the tree. Or if you're staring at the cliff edge, you ski to the cliff edge. When you're skiing, you focus on where you want to go, and that's helping your skis follow that path. Same principle is used in many ways, but it's because it's also a principle that is within our mind, and it's how the relationship is with the conscious mind who's making the choices and the subconscious mind who's following through. And by having a clear picture of where we want to go, it's helping us to get there and also to be our best on a regular daily basis.
Thank you so much for sharing. This is so practical and so useful, Brian. And when you mentioned the last 12, 14 months, my final question, I wanted to be about this. Many people are struggling these days by working from home, social isolation, right? Like many people have been directly impacted health wise, like maybe the loss of somebody close that being affected by the virus, and all this kind of a tension and pressure that's been affecting our mental health, mental clarity. And I want you maybe to just share a little bit about this. And I'm going to quote you again from a speech that you've done. You said something around the area of worry is negative goal setting. And if you can maybe just share a few words about how could people kind of create this more calm, present state and just take care of their mental health and be more centered in such uncertain and turbulent times like we're experiencing.
I'm quite touched that you remember some of the lines from my speeches. It's quite a nice thing for me. The reason why worry is like negative goal setting is because of what I've been saying, that our subconscious mind follows the strongest thoughts of our conscious mind. If you are worrying, that means in your conscious mind, you are creating a negative picture. You are thinking about how terrible some future situation will be. And I know many people have worried about their health or their work, their economy in this time now of big change and the pandemic. And when we are picturing the negative in our mind, that is becoming like a negative goal command for our subconscious to create more of that. It's also in the goal mapping teaching, and I have much video on this in the online program, that every thought we are thinking is also releasing chemicals in our brain, neurotransmitters, that are creating feelings. All of the emotions we have, all of the feelings, are created by chemicals that are released from our brain and our body that give us emotion. If we are thinking a positive thought about ourselves and about our life, if we are focused on what is right, that is releasing a chemical into our brain called serotonin. Serotonin is the chemical that gives us the feeling of happiness. It is the same chemical that is released in our brain if we take antidepressant drug, Prozac, for instance. When you learn the simple science of positive thinking, you are releasing more serotonin. And so if you will sit for a few moments and you will focus your mind to think about something positive, it can be something positive from the past, a happy memory. It can be something positive that you feel or believe or imagine for the future. The moment you are thinking the positive thought, you're releasing the serotonin, it's giving you a happy feeling. Also, serotonin is a chemical that is boosting your immune system and well-being. It actually raises your level of well-being. And so it's a very important thing to do in times such as this, when all of us need to do the things we can do to stay healthy. If you're thinking in a negative way, then you're releasing a different chemical, cortisol. Cortisol is giving you the feeling of sadness and stress. It's part of the fight or flight response. And so in this time of uncertainty that so many people now experience, many people are falling into a trap of thinking negative about their future, which is releasing cortisol, which is making them feel negative. Often it's also causing them to behave in a negative way. And cortisol is lowering the immune system and making us unwell. And so each one becomes a spiral. And we can help ourselves move up and be at our best by holding positive thoughts, or we can sink down into more and more negative and being unwell if we are thinking too much negative. And of course, a balance is needed. When something sad is happening, it is natural to feel some sadness. And it's important, let the sadness out. And then the balance is to hold the hope for the future and to focus on a positive thought. Even while we've been speaking here today, I've had a message that one of my friends has died. Now, I will be a little sad, and that is just natural to be sad for some time, that this person has died, and quite young too. And the balance will come that I will choose to focus on all of the good things about her life, all of the things that were best. Because if we only focus on the sadness, and everybody is being affected in some way by the things happening in the world at this time, if we focus on the sadness too much, it's just bringing us down, 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 down. And so always we must use our free will and keep that balance. So we let out the sadness if the sadness is coming, but we hold on to the positive thoughts and the hope for the future, because that helps us to be in the best way that we can be for ourselves and for those people that we care for, and maybe if we have family, people that depend on us, of course.
Brian, thank you so much. What a beautiful perspective, and thank you also for being vulnerable and sharing. I'm really sorry for your loss. I'm
Yeah.
sure many people are listening and watching and struggling with the similar experience maybe. So thank you for sharing with us a way to sort of like shift the perspective
Yeah.
on the experiences, and really try to not to ignore or to avoid these things, but to experience them in a more meaningful way, as you
Yeah.
said. So that's been really meaningful, and this podcast episode been so inspiring. Thank you so much, Brian, for coming on, sharing from the heart, don't holding up anything, all the tools, all the practical ideas and insights. Once again, everyone who's listening, go check out gomapping.com. There's a lot of free resources, there's courses, there's ways for you to accelerate your success, to accelerate your personal growth, and to find a great community of people as well. Brian, where could people actually get in touch on top of this webpage? And do you have any final words that you want to leave the audience with?
People can contact me, Brian at goalmapping.com. And with the online software, there is also a messaging system there where people can reach me. And yeah, my final thoughts are that if people think their best thought about themselves and their life and the future, that's triggering the chemical serotonin release. And so if we think our best thoughts, it helps to feel our best feelings. And those two together, the thought and the feeling, influences us to do our best work, take our best actions. And we are then naturally living our best life. The map, the goal map, is simply to help people remember their best thoughts and think them more often, rather than thinking our worst thoughts. Because whatever we think about, we start to feel that way and we start to move towards those things. So think the best thoughts, feel the best feelings, take the best actions, and you will live your best life.
Amen. Thank you so much, Brian, and thanks
Thank you for
everyone
inviting me
for
on the show.
thanks everyone for joining us and to taking the time to be with us today. Have an amazing day. Focus on the positive, and see you again at the next episode of Productivity Mastery.
Bye-bye for now. Thank you.